Hello, my friends, and welcome to episode 172 of the Kiss Army Nation podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Pasquale Veri.
And I am Claudio Spera. Welcome to the show, everyone.
From the streets of Georgia, our next guest has been following Kiss for decades, accumulating an impressive collection of memorabilia, attending countless concerts, and spreading the Kiss gospel through a show, Podcast Rock City. Kiss Army, join us on this epic journey in the heart of rock and roll fandom. It's time to talk to our good friend, the one, the only, Joe Polo. Welcome, my friend.
What's up? So good to be here. So good to be here. Yeah. I don't really do a lot of other shows, and you messaged me and I was like, well, I watched that one, so I'll do that one.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Joe,
and
such a pleasure.
You've had everybody else from the show on.
That's
there
right.
you go. Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
Cool.
So truly, this is remarkable, man, to have you on the show, Joe. So welcome to spend time with us. And as you know, as you just said, from Podcast Rock City, we had Sonny Pony, we had Joey, and of course, we also had Lee Westy on our show. So like any good collector, so we needed to complete the set. So here we are now.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Proud. So proud to say that we had every member of Podcast Rock City on our show. So once again, welcome. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And you had all four of us on, and only one was fun to look at, and that would be Lee.
I was going to say Joey, but
definitely not me, and definitely not Sonny Pooney.
Oh man, that's what I love about your show. It's that camaraderie the four of you have. But Joe, I got to tell you, we were talking off air before we came on, and I got to tell you, your show was one of my inspirations for getting into podcasting. At the time, I was listening to the Kiss FAQ podcast and your show. And I thought, man, I can't do what these guys do, man. There's no way. I would love to try, but there's no way. And then Andy Moyen convinced me to do it during the pandemic. And here we are, and you're on the show with us. It's just amazing.
That is awesome. I really appreciate that comment. It means a lot. I've heard that from a couple of different podcasters where they were like, I used to watch you and I thought, man, I'd really like to do that. And then I'm just like, I recommend that if you like to talk about anything in particular, it could be football or Kiss or Motley Crue or whatever, this is fun. This it ties your week together. It's something to look forward to. Especially, in times where, we're getting older. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's get up, go to work, come home, eat dinner, go to bed.
Yeah.
But one day a week, man, we all get to hang out, and that's cool.
Oh, that's fantastic. And, listening to your show, that word often comes up, Homer. So Homer, you're often called a Homer on the show, right? Defined as someone who has an unconditional love for Kiss. So, Joe, I hope you don't mind, but we're going to put you through the ringer on this episode.
Okay.
We're going to see truly how deep your love for Kiss goes. And we're going to do that by looking at 5 categories. So collectibles, concerts and events, song stories, fan stories, and your take on controversial Kiss topics.
Okay.
So you're up to the task?
I'm up to it. Yeah. I wear it every week. I'm not afraid to say.
Yes.
I'm not afraid to say. I'll tell you a quick story. This will tell you something. I'm a music teacher. That's what I do. I teach privately. And I had a student one time tell me, every time I see you, you're wearing a Kiss shirt. And I said, every time I see you, you're wearing the same clothes too. He goes, well, this is my school uniform. I said, this is my uniform.
Yes.
There you go.
Absolutely.
I'm a member of the Kiss Army.
Absolutely.
I love it. Yeah. So, Joe, let's kick it up with the first category, collectibles. Okay.
Okay.
So how many Kiss albums do you own, and do you have multiple versions of each?
I lost count. I'll tell you this. I prefer to buy things in the wild. You guys know what that is, where you're like walking through a store and you find it. So, and that's becoming less and less and less as time has gone on. It's really, unless you're at a record store coming across Kiss stuff. I have probably 125 Kiss albums, and most of them are doubles and triples. It's like, I'm never going to wear a record out. I'm never going to, but I'll buy an extra copy just in case.
Right.
But I know it's not, just in case.
And it's all vinyl, I guess. And so yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, all right. So I have everything on vinyl multiple times, plus a lot of little extra things. I actually brought some stuff to show you for later.
Okay.
And then I have every 8-track. Mine, I think I don't have Creatures. I'm not sure if that actually came out. I think it did. And I don't have The Elder. But I have I have Unmasked on 8-track.
On 8-track, wow. Okay.
And I have the originals on 8-track. And then cassettes. Everything that came out on cassette I have. So, but that's all in the wild. That's all stumbling across stuff. To finish off something, I might have bought 1 or 2 on eBay or something. Oddly enough, I have probably 5 copies on cassette of Killers.
Oh, really?
I noticed today when I was going through some stuff, I was like, how did I get all this? It's weird.
And do you own any rare or limited edition collectibles?
Yeah, it just depends on what you consider rare. Like I have the pinball machine. You can see it in the background there. Right. So my amazing girlfriend Karen bought that for me. When we started dating, she knew who Kiss was, but she didn't really, you know how some people are. They have other things they like. So I told her after about maybe 2 years of dating, I was like, the thing I always would love is the pinball machine. She said, well, one day maybe I'll get it for you. And about 2 years ago now, she sat down at the kitchen table and said, hey, we're getting ready to move in together. Let's get that pinball machine. And she went online and we found one, and she made sure she got it for me. She's amazing. I could do a whole podcast on just how cool this chick is, man. It's just totally into, totally into enjoying life and getting out there and having fun. And we've sat and played pinball, and, it's just, she's amazing. But like, as far as other stuff, I do have a few things. So I saved a few that just in case it came up, I wanted to show you. So I just recently got this one. So this is the Alive 2 Error. So you can see it has Hooligan on there. That's one of the rare ones that I have. The First Kiss, Last Licks.
Oh, yeah.
I have that one. Now, I did not stumble across that in the wild.
No way.
This one,
you were looking for that.
Yes, I was looking for that. And then I have this one right here, this special album.
Yeah.
All right, now I'm going to show you something else that's really funny. Okay, so I have this, but I found a second one.
You're kidding.
No kidding.
Okay,
oh my God.
So Jeremy from Ace's band, I was in Nashville. I'm a big wrestling fan. I was up there for SummerSlam, and Jeremy was selling all his stuff. He was selling a bunch of records, and this was in there. So I picked it up. And at Kiss Cancer Goodbye last year, I brought it with me. And when I met Peter, so I have it autographed by Ace and Peter.
Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah. So it would be cool if I got to meet Gene and Paul and have that signed. All right. So the last thing I'm going to show you guys, I hope it's not too much, is it?
Go for it. Go for it. That's great.
Not at all.
So the last thing that I have, when I started podcasting, all of a sudden I started meeting people who were Kiss connected, right? Kiss connected. And I thought to myself, I really need to have one thing that all these people were involved with that I could get signed. So just tons and tons of autographs, right? So I started doing like the Rockin' Pod and the Kiss Expos and all these things. And then these people were coming on my shows. So I started carrying my Kiss box set around.
Oh.
And you could see, okay, so it's signed by every living member of Kiss.
Mm-hmm.
It's signed by Michael James Jackson. It's signed by Toby Wright, who did Carnival of Souls. Anton Fig.
Wow.
Bill Starkey. I just can't even tell you everybody on it, but
That's
I'll show it to
incredible.
you guys again. So
Isn't that wonderful?
Bob Kulick,
Oh
Bruce
my
Kulick.
goodness. Look at that.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's incredible.
Wow.
Vinny Vincent too.
Wow.
Yeah, Vinny Vincent. I'm not his biggest fan, but he was nice. Peter Criss signed it right. That's the only one I didn't get myself. My friend Eric got it for me. He went to meet Peter, and I told him, hey, have Peter sign right here. And he said, okay. And he said that when he told Peter, hey, sign right here, it's like a small spot, you know?
Right.
He said that he complained, I'm an original member. Why are you making me?
Typical Peter.
Yeah, but you know, his own. Okay, he was opposite side as Anton Fig, you know. So I had two of the drummers. So yeah, I mean, that's one I'm really proud of as well, because it was one I pretty much did on my own. But my friend Eric helped me with Peter, so that was really cool.
That's amazing.
Would you say, Joe, that that's most probably the most prized possession you have, or is there another? Maybe the pinball machine too.
I'll tell you this. As far as Kiss collectibles go, maybe the pinball machine.
There you go.
You know, but like I can tell you that like I'm kind of sappy, man. I'm a sappy kind of guy. Like I will tell you that walking through Madison Square Garden and running into, like, I ran into Pasquale. That's cooler than, I mean, that's cool. The family that we've had, that we are as the Kiss Army. Now here comes the Homer thing. You see, this is the family is amazing. The Kiss Army family is awesome. That's more valuable than any of this stuff to me. I understand that you know, these things are cool. You know, you can hold them and you can look at them, and but you know, having a memory of, you know, shooting a documentary in New Jersey, and Pasquale comes walking up and, hey, I want to do this, and we filmed it, and that's how I met him. And you know, that's been how many years now? That's before COVID, right? So that's what, 5-6 years ago, maybe now,
at least.
Yeah. So I do have, like, I have a few things that I really love that I have, but at the same time, I'm like, man, if I wouldn't have met Sonny or Joey or Lee, I knew, right, like how I met Lee. I was working in a parking lot, and she drove up, and she had Kiss stickers, and I didn't charge her for parking. That was 20 plus years ago.
Wow.
You know, but all these friends that I've made, you know, my oldest friend, Doug Ponier, who I adore, you know, I met him just reading a magazine, and, you know, I wound up being in a band with him. And the first time we played anywhere, we played Cold Gin at our high school. You know, so to me, that's just more valuable. I took my kid to see Kiss when he was 5, and then again when he was like 16. I mean, how can you put a price on anything like that? Or
that's true.
That's the favorite stuff.
That's
the
true.
favorite.
That's true. I love your response, and we always end up, you know, getting to the same conclusion with Pask. So as we get older, this is where the value really is. You know, it's not a thing. because as you said
Right.
before, you grab a thing and that's just a thing. But memories, man, the memories that we create together, that's invaluable. It's
Oh yeah, man.
it's freaking amazing.
It's awesome. And sometimes you just sit back at any of those KISS conventions or expos, just sit in a corner and watch how happy people are and how glad they are to hug and to see each other again. And you mentioned Andy Moyen earlier. I used to run into him I almost killed him one time. You should ask him about that. But Andy Moyen, you look at that guy and you're like, man, this guy's my friend. I met you through KISS, and whenever I see you, he was here in Atlanta, and I had a chance to talk with Peter, and he went to bat for me. He's like, "Oh, I know Joe. He's great. You're going to be fine."
Mm-hmm.
You can't swap that for anything.
Yeah. Just for a sec, Joe, let me get back to talk about items. Okay, what's the craziest thing that you have done to get that particular hard to find item?
I don't really think that I've ever done anything too crazy. It just depends. Like I did not know that there was an Error Kiss Alive 2. I didn't know that. I did not know there was an Error Kiss Alive 2, but it was always in my mind. How do you find one of these? And one night I was watching TV with my girlfriend, and I just went on eBay, and there was a guy that had one, and I looked at it, and I said, I think I'm going to buy this. And, I mean, if you want to call that, that's kind of crazy. That I don't make a lot of money. So spending, a few $100 is a lot of money to me.
Right.
But, the funny thing is that I've, always seemed to find a way to get these experiences, even though I'm a lowly guitar teacher. Whether it's I have a friend that maybe makes a little more money than me, and he's like, "Hey, we're gonna go on this cruise. You got to come." And I'm like, I can't afford to come. He said, "I'm gonna pay. You pay me back." Oh, because it's usually a year. Before, so I give a little money each month until it's paid off, and then I get to go experience something I probably never should have done.
You find a way. There's always a way.
Yeah. So speaking of events, our next category is concerts and events. So first, how many concerts have you attended?
Not as many. I have some friends that have really gone a lot. Once again, that comes down to funds. A lot of people. I've probably seen them 40 times.
Okay.
Maybe 50 if you count the cruises. And seeing them, if you want to call Sail Away and the indoor concert as 2, then it bumps it up a little bit. But I've seen them. I had a friend in Miami that took me a couple of times when I was a kid, and my parents didn't know because I wasn't supposed to go. If anything would have happened to me, it would have been bad. But I saw them, and I'm not sure exactly which tour I saw. I was little. I believe it was Alive 2, the Alive 2 tour, but I've seen them pretty much every year since then, with a few misses. Like I don't remember if I saw. I did not see the Lick It Up tour, and I know obviously I didn't see Unmasked, and I know Psycho Circus didn't come to Atlanta. So I didn't see that, but I've gone, as many times as I possibly could.
Nice. And which was your favorite tour?
Man, I gotta be. I think I really liked the Hot in the Shade tour. That set list was amazing. But like as far as shows go, man, nothing will ever top the first KISS cruise and seeing them in that small little place, not knowing what to expect, not knowing how it was going to be, not it was so much unknown. All we knew is they said, "Come on, we're going to do a cruise," and we all went, "All right, let's go." And that was they played so many songs that were like, you know, that you would never hear them play. It was pretty
Sure.
amazing.
Yeah, I was there. It was something else.
Yeah.
So, what would you say is your most memorable Kiss Expo and Kiss Cruise?
One for the Kiss Cruise. Expo, this is really kind of cool. Well, really cool, actually. Eric Singer, Kiss retired the first time, and they were done. And Eric Singer was supposed to be at the Atlanta Kiss Expo, but they last minute got invited to do the Salt Lake City Olympics. So he had to cancel. So what he did was he called in and they had a conversation over the PA. And then while that was going on, Gene took the phone and he talked to the convention, and Phil Elliott was doing that. Creatures of the South.
Okay, yeah.
He was doing that. And I remember, if I'm not mistaken, I think Phil Elliott said something like, when are you going to do one of our expos? And I think Gene said something like, when are you going to come up with some money?
Oh.
And I think Bill Coyne, I'm not 100%. I want to say Bill Coyne might have been there, and maybe Mark St. John as well. But there was so many. They used to happen every year, so they kind of run together. But that was pretty amazing. That was pretty amazing.
Oh, very cool. And I know for a fact that you've met several members of the band. What would be your most memorable experience with any of the members?
Paul's kind of quiet. He's kind of quiet, and dare I say, a little shy. But he was friendly. When I went up to meet him, Keith LaRue stepped over and said, "Hey, Paul, this is Joe. He hosts Podcast Rock City, and it's very fair to the band." Gene is amazing. If you have to choose, go meet Gene. He's super, super nice and friendly. Ace is he's Ace.
Ace.
Yeah. And but like I recently had the opportunity to do to just ask Peter some random questions here in Atlanta, and he was so nice. His wife was very nice. And when it was all over, I started to walk away, and his wife Gigi said, "Hey, go give Peter a hug." And in my head, I was like, hell yes, I'm going to give Peter Chris a hug. And I gave him a hug, and I told him, take care of yourself, stay healthy. And man, I got to tell you guys, when I always bring this up, there was a magazine when I was a kid called Kiss Fever. Do you remember Kiss Fever? Okay. It had like a green cover, and on the cover, it said how you could meet us. And then there was a whole article in there. And I remember being like 9 or 10 and reading this article and being like, this is never going to happen. And it took a while, I'm about to be 54 next month, but I met every living member. I never met Eric Carr. And I did kind of in passing met Mark St. John at a convention, but like, holy mackerel, this is amazing. Like the kid that that poster behind you, Pasquale, that the Unmasked, I used to sit there and just look at it. And I cannot believe that all this has happened to me. As far as goals go, it's not like something I was like, this is my life, I'm going to do, but like as a little boy going, I want to meet Kiss. It's really happened. It really did. I'm a homer. I'm sorry.
I love it. So let's jump into the next category, number 3, which is about song stories. And by the way, I just wanted to say that on this book, I love your quotes, Joe.
Oh, thank you.
This is amazing. I like your approach on how you listen to music and your taste. This is great. So this is all about song stories. So what is, there you go. What is your favorite Kiss song and why is it so significant to you?
Okay, so I'm gonna be the guy that like I never do what I'm told. So I will tell you that I have 3 that are really I'm big on, and I don't know about y'all, but they change every once in a while, right?
Sure.
Okay, so "Come On and Love Me,"
Yeah.
"Making Love," "I Stole Your Love," probably my top 3 songs.
Okay.
I love the aggression. I love the lyrics. I love the punch, of how, when I saw Kiss in Atlanta, before they played "I Stole Your Love," Paul walked up to the microphone and said, "Now we're going to press the pedal to the metal." And then, they started "I Stole Your Love," and that was just so aggressive and so much fun. And, I mean, I'm a man. I'm no baby. You're looking every inch a lady. You're good looking. You're looking like you should be. There's no better rock lyric as far as I'm concerned.
It's true. It's true.
It's so good. It's like, where did you come up with that, man? That's so good. I'm just saying that. So those are probably, like, if I had to choose one out of the 3, probably "Making Love."
Oh yeah. Oh, I thought you were going to say "I Stole Your Love." Okay.
"Making Love." Correct me if I'm wrong. Did they play that at the last show?
"Making Love." Yes, they played.
Yes, they did. Yeah, they did. Yeah.
They put the Rock and Roll Over.
Right.
Yeah. That's spectacular because they really weren't doing that for the early and mid part of the tour. So they pulled that out. I was excited. I was very excited. Yeah.
That was a highlight. Absolutely. Yeah. So, Kiss has been with us for, I don't know how many years, man. In some cases, 40 years, 30 years, a lifetime. So, and sometimes we kind of relate stories in our life with songs. Do you have any story that you would like to share with us related to a Kiss song?
This is it's I always, like I said, I'm kind of sappy. I have a cousin, Bobby, he passed on a long time ago, but I remember this one Christmas, my parents got me the double platinum 8 tracks, right? And that night we went over to my grandparents' house. They had an 8-track player, and I brought those with me and my headphones with the long curly Q, cord, so I could plug it in there. While everybody was doing Christmas stuff, I was going to listen to my new, double platinum. And Black Diamond was getting ready to come on. And I told my cousin, "Hey, Bobby, come over here." And he had never listened to Kiss. That wasn't his thing, So I turned up the volume, unplugged the headphone. And, the beginning of Black Diamond is so chill and so, and then hit it, bang, and my cousin was like, he got scared and it freaked him out. And I just always have that memory of my cousin, and then he sat and he listened to it with me. And that was pretty cool because at that point, none of my cousins cared about Kiss. None of them cared. But that's really one of my favorite stories.
That's good. That's good. That's awesome. And then if you could remove 5 songs from the catalog, you're laughing already. So what would they be and why?
Okay, so I actually had to write these down.
Okay.
Because I wanted to make sure that all right, so if anybody's watched my show, they know there's one song on the top of the list that I cannot stand, and that's "Anything for My Baby."
Yeah. Really? Oh, wow.
I do not like that song. I'm going to tell you why. 2 reasons. 1, trickery. The song starts and you think you're about to get rock and roll all night, and you do not get rock and roll all night. You get "Anything for My Baby." That's right. I just don't like how it's sung. It always feels lazy. Except from Paul, I would steal anything from my
the
it's
chorus
just too
is
much.
kind of
It's not big. I'm not big on that. All right, so then Sweet Pain, I can listen to it, but it's tough. It's a tough one for me. And I think that when I talk to people, that everybody says the same thing. It's the line about clutching your breasts, and it's yeah. Is that in Sweet Pain? Am I getting the song mixed up? I think I'm getting. Now it doesn't look like I know anything.
what am I?
It's not Sweet Pain. No, and you smile and clutch your breath. No, it's that song though.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I wrote this down really fast. Okay, so and then Spit. I can't. I cannot.
From Revenge. Okay.
Yeah, I can't do that. And I finally found my way.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that. Now the last one is shocking. We'll see how shocking it is. But I cannot listen to I.
What? What's going on with you, Joe? Really? Wow.
Yeah, I can't listen. Oh, Great Expectations.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. I got
Instead
them
of
mixed
Sweet
up.
Pain. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Right,
I'm sorry. I messed those two up.
There you go.
Great Expectations. I cannot deal with.
Right.
So I don't like the Elvis. I don't need no motor. I don't. And the snapping of the fingers, and the how the gut, they changed the lyrics from balls to guts depending on where they're performing. Yeah. I just can't. It feels, for the elder, it feels really out of place to me.
Right.
But every record Kiss had to do a Rock and Roll All Night.
Exactly.
So that was it. So that was the Rock and Roll All Night. Now, I won't lie to you. Online, there's video of me geeking out when they played I on that Kiss cruise.
They got you on tape.
Yeah, but of course, so I complain about a few songs even on my show. I complain about Say Yeah.
Okay.
But my girlfriend, the amazing Karen, took me for my birthday, and I was front row in Nashville. First time on Kiss Cruise 2, I was right up against the stage. But in Nashville, I'm front row, and Say Yeah comes on, and I complain about that through the whole tour. And if you go to the Nashville show, you can see me on the big screen going, yeah.
You're easy, man.
I wasn't going to let anything ruin that day.
Of course not.
It's embarrassing.
I'm actually surprised Read My Body wasn't on your list.
I can tolerate that. It's really funny.
Yeah, I think it's a good song. I like that song.
Yeah,
most fans
not
don't.
Bad. Yeah, I tolerate that one, but I just can't get through I and anything for my baby. I know you're going to get hate mail. Don't send it to me. Send it to these guys.
Podcast Rock City 1, and that's the number one.
That's the number one at gmail.com. I don't get a lot of hate mail, to be honest. Thank goodness.
Yeah. Okay, Joe. So this, in my opinion, is really what defines a true Kiss fan. Category number 4, our relationship with the fans. And I know you talked about this earlier on. Have you made any lifelong friends through your love for Kiss?
Yeah, absolutely. My best friend, Doug. Like I said, I met him by the grace of God. I was a new kid. I think I was looking at a circus magazine or something, and he just walked over, and he doesn't remember anything. He doesn't remember any of this, but it changed my life so drastically. He was looking for a bass player in a band, and he walked over. He goes, "You don't play bass, do you?" And I was like, "No." I was like, "But I'll try." And I went over to his house. He had a few Kiss posters up, and it turned out he was a big Kiss fan. And we've been friends, I guess, since freshman or sophomore year of high school. So I don't know how many years ago that was, but it's way more than half my life, And then, Sonny, it's my guy, Joey, Lee, Andrew Kiss, who used to do the show with me, he'll message me every once in a while just to make sure the old heart's still ticking. He's younger. He's probably getting close to 30 now. His real last name is Kiss, which made it really awesome. Andrew Kiss, you know. I haven't spoken to Jody in a long time, but if my phone rang, I would pick it up and we would talk for hours. Yeah, I mean, there's so many, you know. I would feel completely comfortable sitting in a room with the two of you, you know, having coffee or whatever and just talking Kiss. And, you know, I'm not at all like, you know, that you meet people when you do something like this, or even like when we saw each other in New York, you know, it's like, that's lifelong. You know, we'll be friends forever. I don't, you know, I get emails every once in a while from people. They're like, oh, I met you here and it was great to meet you. And I'm like, and I just talk back. I love that. I love that kind of thing, man. I'm very friendly unless I don't need to be.
Yeah.
You gotta watch out for that, Joe. But I'm very friendly. But you know, like anybody else, I can be backed into a corner. But I'll you know, I'm running my mouth now.
That's great. That's great. So besides Podcast Rock City, of course, how do you interact with fans or communicate with fans or keep in touch with fans? Do you go on Kiss fan communities or forums, things like that?
Okay, so I'm keyboard shy. You ever heard that term before?
Yep.
So I'm keyboard shy because you know, I'm the type of guy that if I get excited about something, I can confuse sweet pain and great expectations.
For instance. True.
And the Kiss fans can chew you up when something like that happens. And it's usually sometimes they can be mean, but I'm the type of guy I like to read what people say, get different look. I one day a week I give my opinion for an hour, you know.
Okay.
And then sometimes I like to just sit back and look. I've been on the FAQ boards. I'm a member of a ton of Facebook's Kiss groups. Sometimes to the point where you're like, good Lord, it's just you're running through, you know, to the point where you miss personal stuff, you know, things that you really should see.
Yeah.
You know, I miss that. But most of the time, my communication is my you know message box can get hit at 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. from somebody in Australia or somebody in Japan who's messaging me going, "Hey, I watched the show. This is what I think." And a lot of times, if I hear it and I wake up, I'll just quickly shoot a message back and say good night. Yeah. Good night. I'm going to bed now. They know what time it is. They don't realize that my stupid phone is right next to my bed,
right, and
that it's not set to be quiet.
Joe, I remember when I was married many years ago, I had this conversation with my wife at the time. What if Kiss came to town during our honeymoon? What would you do? I said, we could do the honeymoon anytime. Kiss is here on that date. So obviously I would choose Kiss over the honeymoon. We're now divorced, by the way. So, so my question to you is, have you ever said no to an important life event to attend a Kiss-related event?
Okay, so the answer to that question is no. I had one time ever where a Kiss event came up where I had a choice to do one thing or to go to see Paul Stanley's Live to Win tour.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
So I used to run a teen rock club, okay? And where it was, the city had shut us down. For whatever reason. I don't even remember why. It wasn't because of fighting or drugs or violence, or it just, you know, it's anytime you put, you know, 200 kids in a room together that anywhere, they get nervous, you know, even though we never had any problems. So that was my income. It was gone, you know, and it took probably 2 months to get it back open. And when we were able to get it back open, I had a choice: pay the electric bill, see Paul Stanley.
Mhm.
And I chose to make enough money to pay my electric bill. And I had friends that really teed off on me. How do you call yourself a Kiss fan? You didn't go. I'm like, I'm doing it in the light now.
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
Hopefully.
But I can honestly say, I know that when you were talking to your wife at the time, you're half kidding. You know, I understand. If you plan your wedding and paid for your wedding,
yes, for sure,
and paid for, it's
for
like,
sure.
well, I guess I'm missing Kiss. But like, I can't think of, like, if I tell you this, oh man, this is so sappy but true. You know, I love my girlfriend way more than I love Kiss. I love Kiss, man. This is my thing. My whole life is right here and in that room and then around the corner and on the walls. It's like, this is my whole life. But I would not, I know, man, this is going to make people look at me, but I love that woman. I would not, if she told me Kiss is playing here, but we really need to go see my parents, I'd be like, well, I guess I'm missing Kiss.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you that I was going to see Kiss last November. Remember, it got in Chattanooga, it got canceled because Paul got sick.
Yeah.
And that was the day after Thanksgiving. So I wasn't going to miss Thanksgiving. I was going to have Thanksgiving, then go see Kiss, and then it didn't happen. So no, I wouldn't pass up hanging out with her for just about anything. And I man, I'm sorry if anybody watching this is like, this guy's full of crap. I am not. I have so many other friends that are like, I get it. You know, Karen's awesome. She's awesome. And right now she's watching this and going, what a piece. What? But it's 100% true. It's 100% true. Yeah. So
you can tell.
I definitely, I missed out on Paul Stanley because we needed to eat and we needed to pay the bills, you know, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, it's, well, I don't know how to put it in words, but I love your take on this one, Joe, because I exactly feel the same. There's a place for everything. Even though we truly love Kiss, you know, to death, there's other things that matter, you know, most, and you know, they deserve, you know, our time and our love and attention. And I'm with you. You know, that's to me, that sounds amazing. That sounds amazing.
I would give up everything I have, every Kiss I might have for Brenda in a heartbeat.
There you go.
No question.
Yeah,
absolutely no question.
Yeah. You know, it's like if it really came down to it, as much as I love this band, if it came down to, hey, we can't afford the mortgage, it's all getting boxed up and sold. That's much more important. This is like the icing on the cake. But, you know, I could get rid of the icing. There's still cake under there.
Exactly. Very good.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, Joe, just getting to the final topic, and this is going to be a good one. This is about controversial Kiss topics. Mm-hmm. So what are your thoughts about Tommy and Eric wearing the iconic makeup?
So it never really bothered me. Okay. I'd have to tell you that I never really had a problem with them wearing the makeup. Okay, so how about this? Because anybody that actually says what I just said is a liar. It bothered me a little bit, but it bothered me way more that they made him sing "Shock Me."
Okay.
It bothered me way more that they made him sing "Beth."
Okay.
The makeup thing, I'm like, I understand why. Like, I went to, when I saw the Sonic Boom tour, when Tommy did "Shock Me," there were people around me that turned their backs to the stage. I'm not like that, man. I'm like, it's like, I would have seen Kiss no matter what. Paul in the band, everybody out, I'm going. It's like, that's how I felt about it. So I know that it's controversial to even to have that take, but I was more disappointed that they didn't let him sing his own songs.
Yeah.
Shock Me wasn't necessary. In the last tour, maybe I get it. It's the last time we're going to get it, but I was more disappointed with the song choices for them. Okay. There are other songs. Eric had plenty of songs to sing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Good take. Yeah. So you know what? There's in history there's two. Well, I have to say there are some albums, but there's two that normally get some kind of backlash. Music from the Elder and Carnival of Souls. So how do you feel about those two albums?
Okay, so Music from the Elder and Carnival of Souls. Music from the Elder, I had not heard, and a friend of mine was like, "Hey, I have this Music from the Elder tape, and I'll trade you this for those two Judas Priest records." And okay. since I'd never heard it, I decided this is the route I'm going. So I traded and I brought it home and I put it on. And I remember I was probably 15. I remember dragging my mother into the bedroom to say, "Listen to this. Do you know who this is?" Just a Boy was on. And I sat and I listened to it. And I'm an MTV kid. Are you guys MTV kids?
Mm-hmm.
MTV kids. I don't have only one style of music that I like. Right. I love Madonna and Duran Duran and Adam Ant and Culture Club and Van Halen and Kiss and Motley Crue and Metallica. So hearing Music from the Elder to me was just music. Mm-hmm. It's just Kiss. I never thought it was different, of course, but I love it. I love that album. And something a lot of people don't know about me, but I love thrash. I love metal, and Carnival of Souls.
Yeah,
that's a metal album, man. That's at least to me. It's hard rock, heavy metal, and I love that record too. I know that Paul's not big on it, or maybe he is, and I always felt like he wasn't.
Well, same like with the Elder, they kind of they bash it, they don't like it, and every time they have the opportunity to say something negative, they do it, but I don't know why. Yeah,
I loved Carnival of Souls and the Elder straight out of the box. I loved them from the beginning. So it's not really controversial for me. I put it on and I judge it for the package. Here it is. First song through the 12th song. This is what it is. How do you like it?
Right. Okay.
And so, I love them both, beginning to end, no problem.
Okay. So you mentioned before, and I most likely your favorite member is Paul, right, Joe?
Oh yeah, Paul.
Yeah. So what did you think about Paul using backing tracks?
I'm kind of torn on this because here's my thing. I sat in the front row and watched, right? And I kind of, from what I could tell, it felt like there were backing tracks maybe there, but I felt like he was really singing, but I think that they were there just to kind of like hold him up, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And he used backing tracks. Do I want to, my last time ever seeing Kiss, do I want him sounding the way he did the tour before? Or do I want him sounding good enough for me to go, that was great? I'm not unhappy about it. Okay. I prefer the latter. I would rather, I didn't want him 100% lip syncing. I didn't want that. But I've said this before. Paul Stanley is a grown man, and walking up to any grown man and saying, you can't do this anymore, that's a huge ego blast. And when you're a rock star, it's got to be even more.
Yeah.
So somebody comes to Paul Stanley and they say, look, you're going to do this final tour. This is how we could do it, and it'll help you along. And you don't have to, you can sing every word, or, if something's going to be sung and it's going to be hard for you to get to, you have this to help it out.
Yeah.
You have some help. The only reason this is controversial is because of Gene Simmons. If Gene Simmons never says we don't use backing tracks, nobody cares.
Exactly.
At least I don't think so. I don't think so. Nobody's ever going to be going, because then they're going, well, Paul's voice is, I don't want to say 100% shot, but it's 90%. He struggled at the end, but 50 years,
exactly.
And you can't, and in the
giving
80s,
giving it all,
you can't touch him in the 80s.
Right.
You can't touch Paul Stanley in the 80s. So he gave everything to me, vocally, performance wise. I could give this to him.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't bother me. But I will tell you this: I saw the final tour, maybe 6 or 7 shows out of it. I saw. There were times when I was like, I'm not sure they're using backing tracks, because this wasn't, that was not great. That was poor, and I Was Made for Loving You. You could hear there's something going on there.
Yeah.
But I don't want a raspy Paul singing I Was Made for Loving You.
Of course. You want the song to sound good. Of course.
I want it to sound good. I want it to visually sounded good.
It's a show,
visually
man.
It's a show.
Yeah, it's a show, and it's the last memory that we were going to have. Okay, yeah, fair enough.
It doesn't bother me either that professional wrestlers don't really hit each other. Just so you know.
Exactly, which is the same. And speaking of that, so you mentioned, the last tour. Were you happy with the way Kiss ended it at Madison Square Garden?
When it happened, no. When it happened, no.
What about now? No, yes.
Completely different now. So I've watched, have you guys watched all the documentaries that are online about ABBA and what they do and the what's going on with Kiss? Have you guys watched this stuff?
A little bit.
Okay. So the night they announced the avatars, I went to my hotel room. If you guys remember, it was raining and it was cold. And I went into my room, and my girlfriend Karen's daughter is an animator. She does computer animation. That's what she was in school for. And when we told her this is what they announced, she's not a Kiss fan. She got so excited because this is the future for a lot of groups. A lot of stuff is the future. So if I will tell you guys all, go online. You don't have to watch the ABBA thing. You don't have to watch Kiss. Just watch Avatar, like Japanese Avatar concert. Just watch some of that. It's video game characters that like a group, like say I'm in a band. We pay for the rights to use the look of Mario, say Super Mario, right? And he's on the screen and he's dancing and it's singing our stuff. It's a completely different show. The things they're going to be able to do with this are going to be next level and a lot of fun. You can't see video footage, live footage from the ABBA show. You can't find it, because they don't allow you to film. And if you do film, if they catch you, you're out.
Yeah.
So there is commercial, like a commercial that shows. And other than when they're like right up on the screen, you can't tell that it looks like these people are standing on the stage. So now that I've seen and then there's a documentary. There's a documentary about the ABBA show. It shows how they put it all together, and it talked about the arena that they do it in apparently can collapse and they can move it somewhere else if they want. Although I think it's in London. Is that where it is?
Yeah.
And it's been there for years. But so I'm very excited to see, what they're going to do. I have a feeling with technology, I'm imagining that it's changing so often that's why it's taking, going to take so long to happen. I hope I'm still here for it. I'm sure I will. It would be great. But I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it because it's a way for me to continue to enjoy my favorite band. And whether they put it in, like, my idea was for them to put it at Universal Studios. There are things at Disney and things at Universal where if it's hot for the day, you go in and you watch a little show and you cool off. I thought, like, that would be cool, man. You go to Universal, you wander around, you have your drink, you have your food, you have your rides. It gets too hot. You walk into this thing and you're surrounded by this Kiss spectacle, cartoon-like, and, action, a lot of action, music. I thought that would be great. I have a feeling they're going to be somewhere, where spectacles happen. So Hollywood or Nevada, or, you know what I mean? Or New York. I don't know where they would put it in New York, but, but there's Broadway. It would fit in Broadway.
Yeah. So if we put, the Avatar thing aside for a second, would you have liked to see at Madison Square Garden a little bit of recognition to the past members, or some footage there, or something like to kind of wrap up, 50 years of this Kiss? So whatever, forget about the new era, but would you have liked to see something different there?
Yeah, I think I was really hoping to get more of a storyteller kind of final show where, did you guys went to the final show, or both of them?
Both, yeah.
Both. Okay. So they trick you when Paul starts telling that story, right? About driving a cab, and then he's talking about being on stage and looking over and seeing Jean's mom and her parents. At that point, I was like, oh, so this is where we're at now. This is, they're home. We're going to get some stories. And then he didn't tell any more stories. And at the end of the night, on the next day, he told the same story.
Yeah.
And that was a little disappointing. Okay. But, I guess they had a plan. They were going to do things the way they planned it out. And that Kiss is a machine, Yeah. So they had an idea. This is what we're going to do. And I do think that, in my opinion, they missed the bullseye a little bit on that one. The show was fun, but saying, Bruce, Peter, Ace, Vinny.
Yeah.
It
was like one more show. There was nothing special, right?
Yeah, it felt that way until the end, when the Avatar things happened. But still was business as usual.
Right. So I'm going to get to the last controversial topic. So how did you feel about Peter and Ace having so little involvement in the making of Psycho Circus?
I remember hearing it for the first time and knowing immediately. Well, I knew immediately that wasn't Peter. It was harder to tell that it wasn't Ace. But if I'm going to be upset about that, then I've got to be upset about when Ace didn't play on Destroyer, or when or the other stuff. I'll be honest with you, man. I was more disappointed to find, and I'm probably silly for this, but I was more disappointed to find out that Kiss Alive wasn't really all live. But
True.
I don't. You finally hear the stories about what happened and how they pretty much kept Ace and Peter off except for their song. That's pretty disappointing when you're really pushing it as the first Kiss release with the original four members.
Yeah.
But it's still a good record. I used to not like it too much, but in the past maybe 3 years, I've put it on the turntable quite a bit. And I'm like, man, I don't know what my problem was with this record. It's
Right.
it's actually pretty good, but yeah.
Okay.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Joe, through our little game here, it's really clear that you are a super fan, but you are a super fan in the best way. You're grounded. You wear your heart on your sleeve. It's really about making connections with other people, and you're not entitled. I have all this stuff. I've been to all these shows, so I deserve this. I deserve that. That's not the kind of fan you are. I think that's fantastic. And what's even, I think, more important is when, a fan like you takes their passion for the band and creates something, like in your case, Podcast Rock City. So I want to turn to that. So how did Podcast Rock City start? Because it started at a time when podcasting wasn't a big thing.
Right.
What made you do it?
So there was a few shows. So I was listening to Three Sides of the Coin, like most people were back then, because there was just a few. I didn't know all the shows that were out there. This is weird to say, but I was new to the iPhone. I didn't even know really what podcasting was. And then all of a sudden I heard about this show called Three Sides of the Coin. And I was like, oh man, these guys are just talking about Kiss. That's cool. So I started listening to that. Then I discovered quite possibly the greatest Kiss podcast of all time, which is called History Science Theater.
Yeah.
That is my favorite. And I love all the guys that I know that do podcasts. I love you all. But there's just something about that show. These are really literally, if you guys haven't heard it out there, History Science Theater, it's literally 3, sometimes 4 guys that grew up together, loving Kiss. They they love movies. They filmed their own videos in makeup, in costume, and they were called the Imposters. Go figure. And then they decided to just talk about Kiss, and I started listening to that, and I thought it was great. And then I ran Cassius Morris. Do you guys know Cassius?
Yeah.
Creatures of the Net, I think, was the name of his show.
Mm-hmm.
He was just a little boy. He's just a little boy, and I would listen to him. It's his passion for Kiss as a little boy. He's a grown man now, and then a little bit later is when I ran into Jody's show, Strange Ways, and then Ken Mills. He has 40 shows, all Kiss shows, and the Podcast was his.
Yeah.
And then when I saw that there was this thing called the Podcast, there was also something called the Kiss Room, which has the greatest, nicest person on the planet hosting, and Matt Porter is a sweetheart, just a big Chewbacca. I'd love to give I love as soon as I see him, it's like he lives next door and I see him every day. So I was with some friends and I said, that's what we should be doing. We could do that. We all work together. We do it at work.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference between what they're doing and what we're doing is they put a microphone. We should just meet somewhere and do this. So I was friends with this guy, Rick, and his son, Trey, who was actually in a band with me. And then Trey and Rick and Lee were best friends. And I knew Lee, for some years. So we all just decided to slap a microphone down in front of us and talk. No real scripting. It's just, 4 people that know each other talking and saying, hello, how are you? What's going on? This is the subject. Let's go for it. And that's what happened. And after a few shows, I think they just got busy. They just were busy. They couldn't do it. And I decided I don't want to stop. I don't want to stop.
Okay.
This gives me something to do every week. Every week I have something. So I originally only did 20-minute episodes. It was, and Ken Mills called it your 20-minute kiss fix. That's where it comes from.
Okay.
Your 20-minute kiss fix. And so I did 20 minutes until Jody have not messaged me and I said, I'd like to come on with you. And I said, all right. And it was so good, and so many people watched it that or listened to it, that I said, come on every third Wednesday. And we had such a good time, and we got along so great that it was just like, just come on every week. Yeah. And then he said, we should get somebody else. And that was Andrew Kiss, who at the time, I think was 19 or 20. Wow. And then it's just continued on. We have replaced a few members, here and there. People have, not had the time anymore. They've, like Andrew, he was doing college, and it's just they've come and gone, and I'm the central dude. I'm stuck with it. But right now, Lee came back about 2 years ago, and Sonny's been with me 7 years or 8 years now. I don't know. Joey's been with us since the pandemic, and we just keep going and have fun. Joey's very busy, being a professional musician, so we know that he comes and goes when he can, but he's very loyal to us. We get messages all week long from him. He and Sonny go at it all the time. You don't even, and don't let anything fool you. They love each other. Yeah. They love each other. But like so Joey is a Giants fan and Sonny is a Cowboys fan. And online today, there was them picking on each other about football. So it's just, this is our 12th year doing this, where we've done 480 something episodes. Wow. I can't believe this. I just recently archived everything. So my son will always have it, but I have to keep adding every week to it. It's been an amazing ride, man. If I were to stop right now, I would be completely happy with what I did. But I don't want, this is sappy, man, but I don't want to stop talking to Sonny.
Right.
I don't want to stop talking to Lee or Joey. If all of a sudden I got a phone call from Jody, I would figure out a way to get him involved. I miss Jody. I haven't talked to him in, I don't know, 3 years now.
Okay.
But I get messages all the time. What happened to Jody? And I'm like, I don't know. It's very strange, very strange. But man, I can't. So many hours. I mean, I don't know how many months it equals up to, or even if it equals up to years of my life of sitting here, and you guys are now in that tally. I've spent over an hour hanging out with you guys. That's an hour of my life, that I'm happy that we did. I got to talk to you guys. I'm getting to look at Claudio's room and I'm jealous. He's got a nice glass case back there. Is that a drum kit back there? Electronic drum kit?
Yeah, it is. Yes.
You play the drums?
Yes, I do. Yeah. I'm playing with cool. I play here at home, and once in a while I join a band. But it's fun. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And I get to, know about you guys, and I'll tell you what, I'll make sure, because none of those, I shot a documentary. It's like 6 parts, 7 parts, and Pasquale is in it, and I'll send you the link to that. I have it all private. I'll send you the link to that. So if you want, I'll cut you out so you could just put, but this way everybody can see him,
I love it.
Being a homer.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
In New Jersey, he stepped, we were filming and he goes, I'm in. I have papers upstairs with his signature saying I could use the footage.
However you wanted to. Yeah.
So like I said, this has been quite a ride. I don't know if I'll ever be remembered, but I'm always going to be the kiss guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, just like you guys are.
But you know, you say it's about putting a microphone and just talking. I don't think podcasting is that easy. You have to have something to make a show like yours work. And your show has been around for 12 years. So what do you attribute its longevity to? What's the secret?
Not taking ourselves too seriously.
Mm-hmm. Right. First. Yeah.
That's a big thing. Listening to what people say when they write us.
Right.
Hey, I think you're wrong right here. That's the cool thing about the live show, because man, when we're doing the live show and the comments are over here on this side of the screen, and Sonny says, "I hate the elder," and 50 messages pop up going, "This dude is crazy," but there's a few that say, "Yeah, absolutely, I can't stand it," that kind of thing. That is cool. It's like that's really cool. But that's a big part of it, man. You're right. You can't just stick a microphone. Anybody can podcast by sticking a microphone and they just start talking. But personality wise, neither of you guys are flat.
Yeah.
You guys are friendly. You're smiling. Mm-hmm. You're having a good time. And it's easy to have a good time when you're talking about Kiss.
Yeah.
It's absolutely easy, man. We could talk about Peter's solo album and have a great time.
Absolutely. Any topic. Sure. Absolutely.
I love it, by the way. I do.
Any topic.
But that really adds to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can honestly say I don't have the numbers like I used to have. I'm not afraid to say that. I don't do it for numbers. Yeah. I used to look every day and go, how many people are watching? How many people are listening? And it got up really high. And then then all of a sudden there was, what feels like 10,000 podcasts.
Yeah.
So people have a choice. That's fine.
Yeah.
If 50 people a week were watching, as long as I can talk to Lee and Joey and Sonny every week, I'm fine with it. I don't make any money doing it. I don't, Click Tees sells some of our t-shirts,
mm-hmm.
But I don't call them once a month going, how many have we sold?
Yeah.
I'm doing this because it's fun, man. This is the longest conversation I've had with you guys. I just met Claudio.
Yeah.
I hope to God we all run into each other again.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Sure.
That will be so much fun, to do one where we sit in a room together and pop a microphone down and just, talk. Where are you guys located?
Montreal.
Yeah. Oh, Montreal. Okay. Yeah. So, you see what I'm saying? But you guys have made your ways to the States. It's not, it'd probably be hard for me to get to Canada. They'd be like, are you that Joe guy? No, we're not letting you in.
I'm sure we'll have the chance to meet up. It's gonna be great. And exactly as you said, I'm gonna pick on something that you just said before. It's all about, personality of what we do. And, there's so many podcasts out there and they all have something to offer. And it's great that, the offer is big and it's growing. But, at the end of the day, it's all about having fun. It's the same here. So with Pass, we always say we're not making any money out of this, but, we can't wait to kind of, connect and have fun and discuss with our guests. So, not so long ago, I was on vacation for 3 weeks, and I couldn't wait to come back and get this going again because it's so much fun. Yeah. It's enriching, actually.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. No. Yeah. You miss a week.
Yeah.
It feels like, it feels like a lot. You're like, oh man, I can't wait to get back. Yeah, that's crazy. It's a good point. I know I've thought of it around kind of like that way, but never exactly that way, and it makes sense. It's like when you do something for 4 years, you guys have been doing this week after week after week, and then all of a sudden you're not doing it. It's like, feels exactly. Like I should be busy.
No, it's part of your life. It's part of your life. Yeah.
It definitely is a huge chunk of it. Yeah.
Joe, we said it oftentimes, but you guys, you, Sonny and Lee, you're such a great fit for the show. Would you? I'm sure that you have many, but can you share a funny story about each one of you, and or Leah and Sonny particularly that may
Oh
have
yeah.
occurred on the show?
So I have funny stories that didn't necessarily happen on the show,
Okay.
but like happened back. So I will tell you that a friend of mine, when did you guys go to Creatures Fest?
I wish.
No,
You
no, we
didn't
didn't.
make it to Creatures
No.
Fest. Okay, so I had two tables there. We had only been doing the live video thing for a little while, maybe a year or so. I don't know, maybe a year and a half. And our friend, do you guys know Jeff Trott?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so Jeff, I told him, hey man, bring a bunch of your stuff down here. You can set up a table and sell your stuff that you want to sell, Kiss stuff. And so we did. And then he said to Sonny, hey, I got to go to the restroom. Can you watch? Can you watch my table? And Sonny's like, absolutely. So he walks over and some guy walks up and the first blacklight poster, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some guy walks up to him and goes, hey, how much is that? And Sonny goes, $30.
No.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
He sold that to
no.
somebody for $30. And then when he realized, after we all told him, because we didn't catch on, we weren't holding his hand, he went out and paid Jeff the rest of the money. That's Sonny. That's how awesome he is. He's very honorable, very friendly, very loyal. I feel safe when I'm around him. He's just wonderful. If I could kiss him, I would, but he could beat me up. Joey is on all the time. He's I will tell you that one of the greatest experiences of my entire life was I went on the Chris Jericho cruise. Karen and I, we love professional wrestling. That's another thing that I kind of drug her into. She didn't watch wrestling, but I watched it, and eventually she was like, this is fun.
This is fun.
Like,
that's right.
Yeah,
she's into it now.
Fun. So we went on the Jericho cruise. Joey was playing on it with quarantine, and I wanted the opportunity to see Joey play. So one of the best opportunities and things I ever did was sit at a blackjack table with Joey and play blackjack. And if you watch the ZO2 TV show, he's a gambler in the show. Okay. So I sat with him, and he talks so much to the dealer, just like in the show. It was real. It was real. And then I'm playing and I'm doing okay. And then he went over to the roulette wheel and he's making money over there. I'm thinking to myself, this is crazy. And Karen was able to get a shot of us at a table. That was pretty awesome. Lee, how I met Lee, I was working at a club. This car pulls up. I was working at as a parking attendant. I took the $3 or whatever it was for parking. She drove past me, and when she drove past me, she had stickers of every member in makeup across the back. I ran after her car, and I gave her money back. I said, you don't pay for parking.
I love that.
You don't pay for parking.
You're awesome.
So like a year and a half later, the Kiss, maybe longer, the Kiss Symphony is coming out, right?
Yeah.
I'm in a car. I went to the movie theater with Lee and my friend Doug and Rick and Trey. We're in a car and we're driving back, and we passed this club that I used to work at. And Lee's sitting right here next to me, and she goes, man, you know what? I used to go to that club right there. I knew a guy there that loved Kiss. I was like, yeah, it was me.
No way.
Really?
He didn't even connect. And she was like, it was you? And I'm like, yeah, it was me. I was the guy. And then it's like it clicked to her. Holy mackerel! This is the guy.
Oh my God!
That she used to come to the club and yeah, that was yeah. It's pretty funny the way that works out, But I love those people. I miss, the guys that don't do the show anymore. Brent was amazing when he was on. Just so smart when it comes to business and music, like Sonny. Just a completely different side to the music industry that, I would have never thought of. But these guys, they're businessmen. I own a business. I'm the worst businessman, especially when you put me next to Sonny and Brent. But when they're talking, you start going, man, I never thought of that. But it's so, whatever they're talking about, and I don't want to toot, Joey's probably watching this right now going, geez, making Sonny's head bigger. But a lot of times he's right. He's right a lot of times, and that's what makes I'm the homer. Lee is the super homer. Joey is a big fan, but his guard is up and Sonny's guard is up.
Up, really? Okay.
Yeah. So I'm the first one Lee's the first one to get taken out. I'm the second one. Joey puts up a fight and Sonny wins the battle.
He goes for it. Yeah. Hey, Joe, are there any topics in the show that you would like to cover in the near future?
If so I've weaseled my way into having some members of the band on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was on a Kiss cruise, and the last Kiss cruise, 10, the last one I went on.
Okay.
And did you guys go to that one by any chance?
No, we went to 11.
No, we went to 11. Yeah.
You went to 11.
Yeah.
The Kiss Cruise 10, out of all the times I went, I think I went 8 times. The boat was rocking. And I never had that problem. And I stayed in bed and I told Karen, hey, I need you to do me a favor. Go find out what it costs to get a Gene Simmons bass. They're selling them on the boat.
Oh, geez.
I think I want one. She goes, okay, I'll go. And she had no problem being on that boat. It was rocking. And she's walking. She's eating pizza. And I'm like, I'm laying in bed like this. No, please, no. And she comes walking in and I go, how much was it? She looks at me and she goes, I bought it.
Wow. Really?
Which is not what I expected, not what I wanted to happen. So we were getting ready to go, and we were getting ready to go and meet Gene. And I thought to myself, I'm going to balls up and see if I can ask him some questions. But I don't want to ask him Kiss questions. I want to ask him questions about him.
Yeah, personal questions. Yeah.
So I took out a piece of paper and quickly wrote a bunch of questions. What's your favorite movie? Godzilla or Mothra? Like stuff like that. I asked him what his favorite meal his mom ever cooked was, what his least favorite meal his mom ever cooked was. He got a little emotional when I asked him, those things. And when I said, hey, I do Podcast Rock City, can I do this? He said, sure. And I wanted it to be quick, but he took, maybe 5 or 6 minutes to answer the questions. So I kind of weaseled myself in there. Now, I would love to have these guys on my show. I've had Eric Singer on. I have had Bruce on.
Okay.
When I was in Nashville, a friend of mine who's a listener to the show, Larry, he invited Karen and I to go backstage with him when he bought a guitar from Tommy. And I weaseled my way into asking him a few questions. And if you watch that interview, you can see at the beginning, he was a little standoffish. But when I asked him Star Wars or Star Trek, he sets back a little bit, gets a little smile on his face because I think he realized I wasn't going to go, what's it like being in a Kiss?
Yeah, typical Kiss questions.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Bruce, I had him on the show. He did, a regular interview, but I did ask him those questions. And then I sent a letter to Peter and they answered me and I said, I'm going to be here. I swear to you, I'm not going to be negative because Peter doesn't want negativity in his life. He's had enough of it, I think.
Right.
I said, I swear to you, I'm not going to be negative. I'll even email you the questions so you can see. And these will be the questions that I ask. you could look over them. And then I got the opportunity to do that. But I would really like to have Gene, Ace, or Paul on the show.
Okay.
So, and I keep hearing that we're going to get Ace because Joey played on the record, but Ace is touring, and I don't know when it's going to happen. But I think that I would very much like. I definitely won't say that my show's not successful if I don't get Gene or one of those guys on. I had Peter on, you know, but I'd love to have Gene sit down with us and talk, or Paul or Ace. You know, Peter would be great.
Yeah.
You know, just to pick his brain about being in the band. Of course, me being me, I would go in a completely different way. You know, my first question would be like, I hear so much negativity. Which outweighs the other? Would you say you have more good memories or bad memories? Because all we seem to hear about as fans is the bad, right?
Yeah.
But I would love to hear all the good.
Yeah.
I think that would be fun. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And we've been hearing one side of the story, you know, for most times, you know, so that's why, you know,
And I think Gene would be easier to get the happy, fun, funny side out of.
Oh, yeah.
More easier than Paul, maybe.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
So, Joe, listen, unfortunately, we're at the end of the show. Like you said, we could be talking about Kiss forever.
Yeah, I read my mouth. I'm sorry.
I was about to switch. Let's start talking about the Peter Criss album. Let's go, you know?
No problem.
So before we close the curtain on this episode, here's your chance to plug your show a little bit. Where can we find the show? Where can people listen?
So when you're done listening to these guys, you know, go over to Podcast Rock City. We're on YouTube. You know, we have a nice back catalog of shows, but if you're an audio person and you like listening to stuff while you drive, it's on iTunes, and I don't think Google has a podcasting anymore.
No,
but I think, but it's on iTunes, so you could go there and check out. There's probably 400. Steve Flythe, who does, he has a podcast too. It's sports and pop culture and stuff. He messages me. He started at the last episode and listened all the way up to like maybe episode 15 or so, and then he can't seem to find them. And you know, but so there's a lot to listen to, and we do the show live. My new slogan is 100% live, 100% interactive, and 100% Kiss Talk. And it's the coolest thing. Sunday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube. Just go and subscribe, or you know, it's on YouTube and it's on Facebook and Instagram. But it's live and it's fun. It's a lot of fun to hang out with the Kiss Army.
You still have the Patreon?
No, we don't do that anymore. It was hard to keep up with. But, you know, there are other people that are able to keep up with it easy. And, you know, everybody has such busy jobs that it was really up to me. And I just couldn't. I'm running a business and I'm trying to be a dad and a not husband because, you know, I'm not married either. But, you know, so I just decided go ahead and drop this. It's too much work for one person.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Joe, you know, it's, as Pascal said before, we could be here forever. It's been a tremendous pleasure. You know, first time ever that I see you and meet you virtually, and you know, a lovely person. You know, with such a big heart. So you know, I absolutely love this episode. You know, from the bottom of my heart, I can say that we had a lot of fun, and you can even tell that we didn't get into the kind of nitty-gritty stuff, you know, talking about deep Kiss. We were just talking about experiences. We were just talking about life and how grateful we have to be to have the chance of using Kiss as a media to get each other, to meet each other, you know, to meet people like you. So I think we're very fortunate that we have to celebrate you. Thank you so much.
I really appreciate it. You know, in the end, all we have is experiences, and
that's right.
You know, and that's really awesome. I do appreciate it. It's very nice of you.
Thank you so much.
Joel, you made another impact for me tonight because Claudia and I have been talking, you know, and we're saying, oftentimes we often say that, it's a great time to be a Kiss fan, but lately it's been very quiet, and talking to someone like you, a true Kiss fan, it reminds us what it means to be a Kiss fan. It's this. It's podcasting, it's meeting fans, talking about our experiences, reminiscing, and I love what you said about, family's more important than Kiss and the connections that you've made. Thank you for that. It's like, in a sense, you brought back my love for Kiss again, and you reminded me how special this band is and how this band has enriched my life and all of ours. So once again, thank you so much.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. That's very nice. I say it all the time, man. There's so many I can look around my room here and there's connections, not necessarily with the band, but with friends. I have
with people.
I'll show you this right here. Yeah. This a friend of mine, Todd, he works at a plexiglass place.
Wow.
He just made this for me.
Right.
And my friend Todd, he it's like you can't buy this kind of memory.
Yeah,
exactly.
You can't buy this memory. He said one day he walks in and he goes, "Hey man, I was at work and I had this spare piece of plexiglass and this is what I made for you." And it's like, how awesome you thought of me. I just once again, it's just the band is more than a band. It's an life experience. It's the sun. Yeah. Kiss is the sun, and we revolve around it.
That's right.
And every once in a while we bump into each other, and man, it's so good to bump into each other.
There you go.
They better hurry up and have some expos and have some.
Oh yeah,
that's it. Yeah,
better believe it.
I believe things are coming. I think plenty of stuff is coming. I think we just have to be patient and wait for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Joe, once again, thank you so much for taking time to come on our show. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. You guys are great. And I'm not kidding. I do watch your show and it's a lot of fun. I love how you spotlight so many fans. You guys do topics, where you talk about, but it's spotlighting specific fans. That's a lot of fun. And it's a really good, take on being a different kind of podcast. So
thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
To the Kiss Army, we hope you enjoyed this episode. I know we did. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, please send them to talktome@kissarmynationpodcast.com. Till the next time, remember, never stop rocking. Take care, everyone.
Peace.
If you enjoyed this episode, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and X. You can watch us on YouTube or listen to us on Podomatic, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. This is about you, so please like and subscribe to support the amazing guests we have on the show. See you soon, Kiss Army.